Good evening all. Hope my screen is visible. Please confirm it. Okay, fine. Today's topic is continuation of HTML. That's a previous session topic. So in the last session, we have discussed about HTML basic elements and main tag, that is a form tag, right? And now we are going to continue that with a HTML list along with the CSS. Right. Okay, so let's continue with the list part. So basically, HTML lists are used for specifying, information in a specific form. Okay, so basically we have three types of, list. So those are order list, unordered list, and What are the types? And we have data description. Okay, so basically how, it's mainly used for how we need to represent some data. Okay, so that's a use of, list or HTML list elements. Okay, so first let's go ahead with, things. So here is a types of HTML list, order list, or we can say this order list, as numbered list, and for another list we can say, we can call it as a bullet list. Okay, and then we have description list or definition list. We'll see one by one. Okay, so here, whichever the tag we take, if you want to represent any data, okay, if you want to pass any data, so suppose I can say list items, so then we must use, li tag. Okay, list item tag inside this, or order list tag or another list. Okay, basically, to represent any information, in a specific format, either can be attached with the bullets or numbers. Okay, in such cases we can use this HTML list, right? So here is a very simple example, number or order list. Okay, so you all can observe here we have first, root tag as an order list, and we have an inside this order list we have list tag, list item tag. Okay, so this list item tag basically used for representing, items. Okay, let me open my Eclipse. Actually, I'm executing all, activities in Eclipse only, because, even for in further sessions, so I require this Eclipse only for executing or for developing dynamic web projects. Okay, so I'm creating one more, static web project. So this is HTML activity 1. Okay, let's go ahead. So here in this, we can see web content, and yes, we can right click on this web content, and we can create a HTML page. Okay, so this is an example for our list tag, or we can say, or I may need to display, values by using numbers. Okay, so this is an example for number list. Okay, so as usual, okay, so if we want to change the title, yes, we can change. So this is order list. Okay, so now inside this, learning order, or you can say number list. Okay, so for now, if needed, we can use HR tag. And now let me write list tags. Okay, so here is about list tag, which is a root tag here, order list, right? So here I'm taking order list, and here in this, we have to pass. So either we can, have the insertion or deletion or passing list. Okay, so here, let me pass the programming language. So I'm taking it as a C. Okay, again, so we can pass any number of items. And again, so Java. Okay. Python and C hash. Okay, so I'm ending. Let's go ahead and try to deploy this. Same, there is no difference. So we have to select that, what is it? A server, HTML server. So with the help of that server, we have to deploy it. Okay, so all of you can see here, right? So this line, it's in horizontal line. So to get this line, I've displayed, I used a HR tag. Where is it? Here, right? And all the values, the items which I passed inside this order list, it is ordered by using its numbers. Hope it's clear. Any queries in this? If you want to pass, few more, order list, we can pass. Okay, so I'm taking, let me take a new one, OL. And in this, I'm passing list tag. Okay, actually, list item. Sorry, it's a LI. Okay, I am taking names, so cities, city names. So it's Bangalore and right. Okay, and so you can pass any number of items. Okay, so now actually when I refresh, it's not reflecting, so it's only reflecting with the one. Why is it? Okay, let me redeploy and let's check. If needed again, here I can use HR tag. Actually, in case if you face any issues with this HTML, preview at localhost, so you guys can go to this, choose existing, manually define a new server, and you can, select it from this place. Okay, so you can select from this place, but already, I have an existing server, so I'll go with this. Hope it's clear. And you can pass any number of, items. It's related to anything. Okay. So now let's go to one more, activity. That's what an order list. And okay, so this is an order list. And now I'm taking order list. Okay, so I'll display this in a center. I'll display this an order list, and center. In case, if you want to pass any headers, header tags, you can. So let me use a header tag as H2. And let me close here. Okay. And right. Please observe. Okay, so next, move to the next line. Now it's an example for an order list. Okay, so inside this unordered list, again, you people can observe. So what we have insertion, we have deletion, and we have li tag. This is for the inserting items. Okay, so now I'll just, copy paste these values. Let's go here. Let me write here. Okay, let me write here company name. Again, li. So IPM. Okay, so view mode. Okay, if you want to pass same values, yes, you can pass. Not an issue. Okay, so now let us run this. So hope you can see, even though we pass duplicate values, it's not affecting anything. So let me take this center tag. I'm closing, center tag after an order list. Okay, so now let me, it's not reflecting, so go ahead here. If you want to use HR tag, yes, we can use here. Okay, so I'm using HR tag, horizontal line. Why is it? And the values are, bullets are not reflecting at center. Let me check. Nothing is there. Okay, let me check by passing here. This is center. Let's see. Yes, we can include it. Run as. So now go with the run on server. Okay, so now click on next and finish. Okay, why is it happening? Okay, let me check. Let me check it later, and I'll update you. Let's move ahead. So basically, center tag is placing any values at the center of the editor. Okay, right. This. Okay, so this is about an order list. So we have one more. We have one more, that is description. Description list. We can say it as in data. Not data, sorry, DL tag. Okay. Fine. So let me create one more now. One more class, HTML file that is for description tag. Okay, so let me finish it off. Right. So now, we can go ahead with here. Let me insert title first. Description tag. Right. So let's get into body tag. So we can say, HTML, basically HTML supports for this, description list. And, the description list is a list of items with a description, with a description of each element, or we can say item. Okay, so for that, we have to, what is the comment? Right. So basically we use DL tag. Okay, DL. And this tag, okay, so defines description list. It defines description list. And we have one more. Okay, so that is data tag. Okay, so that is DT, data tag. So we can use this tag for defining item. Okay, so okay, use to define the item, or we can say name. And for that item or for that name, we may need to pass the description, right? So for that, we have to use this DD tag. Okay, use to describe items. Okay, so let's get into the body tag. Actually, we are in body tag. Fine. And now I'm taking, let me display some data here. H1, welcome to description tag. Okay, so for that, which tag we have to use now? Data list, DL tag. And inside this, data, sorry, it is not data tag. So it is a description tag. Fine. So now in this, I have to pass data tag, or we can say, item. So what I'll do, I'll just use the tag, data tag, and let me have, so I'm passing Java. So for this, I'm providing, description. So for that, which tag we have to use? DD. Okay, so now we can describe anything about this. Okay, anything about this in the sense, Java is object-oriented programming. Let me write here as language. Okay. And okay, I'm using break statement here. Break. And again, Java used to develop standalone and web applications. Okay. So this is about, description. So we can pass, many more things. Okay, now again, so if you wanted to continue, if you want to pass few more, items along with its description. So let me pass HTML. For this, what is it? Data tag. So DT. And here I'm passing HTML and yes. And now description. Okay, HTML is language used to develop static web pages. Okay, so this is about HTML, the description which I passed. If you want, you can add one more here. I'm adding one more. That's a C programming. And inside this data, it's first is a tag and then it's a definition. I'm passing C program. And now for this data definition. Right, so data definition here. C is a structured oriented program. Okay, so this is about three types of three tags along with the description. Okay, so one. So I'm going to deploy this. If you want to design, you can use, okay. So you can use any of the designing, I mean, horizontal lines or, any icon. So that is included. Okay. And if you want to, without those, you can simply pass horizontal line. Actually, it is not a good thing. So let me, after each item, let me pass HR. Okay, so, right. Again, I'm using HR tag. Okay, so now again, so you can select run on server. Hope it's clear. Right. So this is about your list tag. Okay. So now we'll get into, actually we have many more things, but not in depth. So this is an basic part of HTML along with a CSS. And now we'll talk about CSS and the usage of CSS and how do we write it's how do we use that syntax and what are the different types of CSS we have. Okay, so we are going to learn that. Okay, so that's that's all about your list. So basically it's used for defining any type of items in a proper formats in the sense you may need to display the data by using in numbers, or we may need to display that, or it's not data, it's a kind of items, okay, by using bullets. Okay, in such cases we can use this list tags. So basically we have three types. What are those? Order list, unordered list, and description tags. Okay, so these are the different types of list tags, right? Now we will get into the another important topic, that is CSS. So after learning CSS, we'll see few activities, hands-on things on HTML with CSS. What is CSS? Why we needed CSS? Yes. Why do we need a CSS? Okay, so what CSS stands for? CSS stands for cascading style sheets, right? Yes, it's mainly used for decorating web pages. Okay, so basically HTML is used for developing static web pages or web pages to provide or to design, okay, or to decorate those web pages. We can use this CSS or cascading style sheets, right? Yes, decorating web page, and yes, it stands for cascading style sheets. Okay. Specifically, it's used for, providing, more attractive, or to make more attractive presentation layers. We can use this CSS along with the HTML files. Okay. So what are the types of, CSS? How many types we have? Good. Right. So this cascading style sheets, basically it's used for designing websites. We are right. And what extension we have to use? Yes, CSS is in addition to HTML. Okay, good. 3 types. What are those? Okay, so let's move to CSS part. Right, so it stands for cascading style sheet, and it's basically used for designing HTML web pages. And yes, it's widely used language on web, not alone. So it will be always used with the HTML, right? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are used for web designing, and of course, it helps the web designer to apply styles on HTML tags, right? And yes, it's a style sheet language. Just a minute. It's a style sheet language which is used to describe look and formatting of a document which is written in a markup language, that is HTML. Okay. And right, so it provides an additional features to HTML. CSS, cascading style sheets, provides additional features. And yes, it's generally used with the HTML just to change the style of web pages and to to provide more attractive with the user interfaces. Right. So hope you can you can see my screen. Please observe the CSS syntax. Always CSS syntax which starts with the selectors. Selectors are any kind of tag. Okay, and open and closed braces, And within these braces, yes, we can use properties along with its values. So here we can observe, we have a color, right? So where is it? Yes, we have a color. So this color is actually a property. And for this property, I'm assigning value. So what value is that? Red. Or here we can see, the font size with a value 12 pixels. Okay, so always, always we follow this syntax. Any tag which is followed by open and closed curly braces with its property along with a value. Right. Right. So now we'll move to the another one. Right. So how to add this CSS, or we can say, the types of CSS. There are 3 types of CSS, inline CSS and internal CSS and external CSS. Okay. So now we'll see an examples for one by one, inline CSS, internal and for the external. Now let's go to our Eclipse. Okay, so now I'll create one folder. Okay, one folder for CSS. Okay, let's go with the CSS file. And now I'll create one simple example for inline. Okay, so I'm trying to pass CSS inside HTML file. So now let me take file name as inline CSS. Okay, so how do we include this CSS, inline CSS? So how to add these, inline CSS? So CSS will be added in HTML pages to format the document, which is accessing or, addressing to information in a style sheet. And right, so with this CSS inline, as the name indicates, it's used to apply CSS on a single line or element. Okay, inline CSS used to apply on a single line or element. So that is about inline CSS. Okay, so now I'm going to see a simple example for that. So I wanted to display, text, one text. So this is H1. Okay. And for this, I'm writing here, welcome to ExcelR Java live stream. Okay. So now I wanted to display this, whatever the statement I've written in a different color. Okay. So basically we get, we get whatever we have written, right? So now I wanted to change. Assume that I want to display the color of, the text which is written here. So for that, let's take, a tag, attribute called style. Okay, so here, we can use the style with its a color. Let me write color. Okay, color colon. So we can describe, whichever the color we wanted. So I'm using red. Okay, red. And if you want to add, few more attributes, we can, use margin. Margin. Okay. So without margin, we'll see once, then we'll take margin part. So now I'm running this. So hope you people can find, the difference. We are styling, we are providing inline style sheets. Okay. Now I can, I just wanted to move left. So I'm marking margin. I'm providing margin right. So margin right. Here we can define, anything in the form of pixels. And let me take it as a 20 pixel. And remember, there should not be a space between this 20 and with this big pixel. Okay, so there should not be any space. Let me check. Refresh. Okay, fine. So let's go here and run on server and click on finish. Nothing is changed. Which one I used? 20. Let me take 50. Actually, let me check with the bottom. It's not reflecting. Actually, it has to move. Let me increase the pixel, Actually, whenever we use this margin, the text has to move, depending on the pixels which we pass, but it's not. Let me see. So let me clean this once. No, it's not moving. Okay, let me check this. Fine. So for now, yes. So let me remove this margin and later we'll check. So for now, I'm passing color. Okay. So if you want to use, few more, we have many more, attributes of this style attribute, not attribute, actually properties of the style attribute. Okay. So we can use any of this And yes, depending on the requirement, we can use. So you people can observe we have background attachment, background clip, background color, image. Okay, so let me use. Okay, so we can use any of the property, and we can provide a styles with a HTML page. Okay, so this is about your inline or internal CSS. Okay, so you people can observe whatever the text we are using. Okay, so for that same, whatever the whichever the page, doesn't matter if you want to pass inline or extra external, or maybe the other type, depending on the requirement, we can design our pages, HTML pages. Okay, so this is about internal or inline CSS. It's not only for the H1 tag. Okay, it's not only for the H1 tag. Even you can use a paragraph tag, body tag, so any kind of tags, but only the differentiation which type of CSS you wanted to use. So in inline CSS, inline tag, basically we use a style as an attribute of any tag. Okay, so now we'll move ahead with another type, that is internal. Right, so now we'll see with one more type, HTML file. Right, now it's about internal CSS. Okay, so we can change this title, internal CSS web page. Okay, so I'm just giving it as a web page. And now please observe how we are passing this internal web page. Sorry, internal CSS, not web page. Right, so basically when it's used for applying CSS on a single document, or we can say it is a page. Okay, but it can affect all the elements of the existing page. And also it is written inside the style tag within a head tag. Okay, so within a header section, we can say whatever the tag, header tag we have, right? Inside this, whatever we write, so that's called it as a header section. Okay, so inline tags, internal tags or internal CSS always we pass inside this header tag. So I'm writing comment here, comment, right? So internal CSS is used. Okay, used inside head tag. Instead of used, let me write it as a define inside head tag. Okay, and now yes, so whatever we define inside this tag, this will be affected. It can be affected where affected to all the elements. So we can say these are called as tags, right, of the web page. It's about current page we are talking. Okay, right, so how do we define this style, internal styles? So that is with the help of style tag. Okay, so by default, whenever we use a style tag along with it's generated with a attribute. Which attribute is that? Type. And here we have to define, or we have to pass what it is. It's related to the CSS. So always, we pass text slash CSS. And now we can define the things which is required. So actually nothing is defined inside my body tag right now. So now we can define. Okay, so let me use assume that. So I'm using paragraph tag itself instead of paragraph. Let's see. Let's take h1 tag. Okay. In h1, let me take bulk. Okay, web application development. Okay, so this is development. So this is the text which I wanted to display. Okay, along with the paragraphs or any other tags. Okay, assume that. I'll go ahead with the one more tag. Paragraph. Okay, in this paragraph, HTML used for developing web pages and static web pages and websites. Okay. So now what happens? Even I want to define CSS for this tag also or element. For that, let's move to our style tag, which is written inside header tag. And now what we have to do? So how many tags we have? Actually, we have 1, 2, 3. 3 tags we have. So we have body tag and we have h1 paragraph tag, right? So now we can define, styles for this 3 tags. Okay. Let me use HR tag. Okay, so here I'm taking body tag first. Sorry, it's a body tag and open and close the curly braces. And now you can define the thing, things which require things in the sense it will provide, CSS provides many attributes, not attribute properties. Okay, so let's go here. Let me take background color. So here I'm taking background color. Okay, so for background color, let's pass light blue. Even we can pass code as well. For each color there is a code now, so we can pass the code as well by replacing this name. Okay, if you want to pass any background images also we can pass. I don't have specific background images, so let's go with this. Let's see one. Okay, so here by passing URL, we can pass the image, but yes, I'm not passing because I don't have relevant images. Fine. So now let's move to another one, right? So which tag is that? First one is a h1 tag, right? h1. So for h1, it's related to header part, right? So now you can call color. Okay, so color, it is depends on you. So I'm passing red. Okay, and margin, let me check now with the margin. So margin left, with the 100 pixel. And we do have, I do have paragraph as well, right? Yes. So let me define for paragraph as well. Okay. So what I want to pass here, I just wanted to pass the color. Okay. So red, yes, red is done. Let me pass blue, dark blue. Okay. So now I'm defining this one. Sorry, I'm deploying. Okay. Hope you guys are finding. Actually, this is an background color. So background color, what I used here, I used light blue, right? Let me use a gray. Okay. So actually, this line is a horizontal line, which I use a tag. And yes, so for paragraph, I used a blue color, and for H1 tag, I used a which color it is? Red color. Okay, so we can define many more things, but for now, it's just a sample one. Okay, so this is known as your internal CSS. Internal CSS. Hope it's clear. And now we'll move to another one, that's a external CSS. Okay, external CSS, always we have to save file with a .css extension. Okay, new, let's go to this page, CSS. Okay, so I'm creating CSS file. Let's say an example is a new. Okay, I'm giving it as a style sheet. Okay, so this is the page name. So please observe, where is it? Style sheet. Okay, so now we can get inside and yes, we can define. Okay, so what we can define, let me create one file. Oh, it's outside. I'll keep, I'll drag and drop inside this CSS file. Where is it? It's not getting inside. Okay, so now let's move. I guess now it's moved, right? Okay. Let me create one file as well, HTML file. So this is for external CSS. Right. First, so how many, tags we have? We have body tag, we have, okay, it's actually body tag, right? Let's go to this page. What is this? Not inline, internal. I'll copy, I'll copy this one. Actually, I didn't write anything. Okay. So now I'll get into this external. I'm writing inside this body tag. Okay. And now let's go to this CSS file and I'm trying to define, these three tags. So actually we can have any number of tags and we can define all those tags in a external CSS file. And which is the first tag? That is body tag, right? And so here, yes, if you want to pass border as well, you can pass. Let me pass tick. So it's up to requirement. Okay, and now for this body tag, I'm gonna pass color as well. I mean border background color. Okay, so background color. Linen. Okay. And now let's move to the part of, it's done. So we have one more tag, H1 and paragraph tag now. So H1, and for the H1, so what we have to, so basically this is a text, right? So we can define by using, color tag, right? Color colon, color colon, it's a value. So it can be very, okay, value. So, and if required, you can use margin left or right, anything. So I'm passing 20 pixel. Okay, so even actually I'm trying to give you, so background clip, background color we can use here again. So actually I used a light blue, right? And we can use the background colors, background, what is it? Background clip, image or origin, positions, everything can be defined. Okay. So defining of CSS is done. See, I have one more tag, that is P, right? P. And for P, again, I'm taking the same thing for the H1 tag. Okay. So even I guess we can align text, align. Let's see. So now go to this CSS. So of course, defining CSS externally is done, but what I have to do, we have to link these two, external CSS with a HTML file. How do we link that? Okay, so for link, let me pass link tag and relation. So which relation is this? Style sheet, and type is text slash CSS, and we have to pass reference. Actually, I'm not given reference, in HTML, right? So basically, we have anchor tag. So anchor tag is used for directing to another page, or we can say for the reference. Okay, so I'm using reference, h reference tag, attribute of this link. H reference equals to, we have to pass the file name. So what is that file name here? Style style sheet dot css. Okay, and now let's see whether it affects or not. Hope it's clear. Any queries in this? This is external CSS. Okay, so we can write separate CSS file and we can link. Okay, so we can provide link for that external CSS file by using link tag. Any queries in this? Okay. So in this, same one is a sense multiple selectors, multiple CSS selectors. It's not with the external, it's with the internal CSS. Okay. Assume that where we have internal CSS, this one, right? Let me close others, right? So if I run, so each tag is having, different format, different styles, right? Suppose if I want to pass same styles for those two tags, okay? I want to pass, same color or, same defined CSS for those two tags. So what do we need to do? We have to go with the multiple selectors. Okay, so multiple selectors. Let's take this light blue. Okay, this is for the body tag. Okay, so now for paragraph and for the H1 tag, I just wanted to use, I just need to have the same, same properties. Let's go with that. Let me remove this P. I want to provide the same, styling for paragraph tag as well. In such cases, we can go ahead with a comma. Okay, so we can separate, we can have multiple selectors by separating comma. Okay, so now actually I didn't do any change. Okay, so just I removed this paragraph. Instead of removing, let me comment. Okay, this is okay. I commented. Yeah, one more thing I forgot about comment. So in HTML, we use Anglo braces with a exclamatory mark and two icons. But here, / with a star, and it has to end it with a star with a closed, / Right. So this is a comment. Now this, whatever the code which I commented here, this code will not get reflected in a browser. And I'm defining the same paragraph, along with the H1. So by separating comma. And now please observe. Let's go here. So hope you can see. This is actually selectors. Okay, so I started with the selectors. Right. So we have, CSS element selectors. There are different types, in selectors. Among that, CSS element selectors is a one. Okay. So actually the one which we have learned, that is, CSS element selectors. Okay. So now let's see. Right. So hope it's clear about, three types of CSS. Those are inline, internal, and external. And now it's about CSS selectors. Among that, element selectors is done. Now we'll move to IDA selectors. Attendance. Okay, so it will be shared around 8:30. Attendance link will be shared around 8:30. Okay, so yes, types of CSS selectors in that element is done. Now it's about ID selectors. Okay, so what is the requirement of ID selectors? So basically, it is it selects the ID attribute. Okay, ID attribute of an HTML element. And what is the need of that ID? So an ID is always, always used for representing uniqueness, right? So uniqueness where within the page. So we can have many number of, let's go with this example. So this is example for, let me create a one more folder here. And this is CSS selectors. Okay. And now I'm going to create one HTML file that is ID selectors. ID selectors. Okay. So please observe. So what I'll do here, I'm taking h1 Java class h2 provided ExcelR. And let's go with, again, p tag. Okay. ExcelR provides your services as well. Okay. So okay. So please observe. And here I have two paragraph tags and one h1 tag and one h2 tag. Assume that I have one more h1 tag. Okay. Okay. So instead of that, let's go with the h2 can be replaced with h1. Let's move to center. Okay. Center. Now, okay. So let me, define selectors. I'm removing this, that's not an issue. So now define styles. Okay, so style text slash CSS. It's always, that is the one which we have to pass. And it's about ID, right? And assume that in our class, suppose if two of you, okay, any one of you are having same name, okay, same name. And what is the uniqueness? Okay, if we talk about any students, there will be ID, student ID. If it is an employee, employee ID, right? So same way here, we have two tags with a same name, that's H1 and P tag, right? And we have to define, we have to provide, separate CSS or, designing for each tag. So in such cases, we can use this ID. Okay, so I'm using ID equals to, I'm using H1. So actually we can pass anything, okay? It's not only H1, anything we can pass. So here I'm passing for the second one equals to H and 2. Okay. And now even for the paragraph as well. Paragraph ID equals to, okay. And now I'm writing it as a P1. Even for this, ID equals to P2. So it is up to you how you pass, ID, but it should represent uniqueness. And now, I define with the help of this ID. Okay. With the help of this ID, I will define. So for defining this ID selectors, we must use an hash symbol. Okay. So it's written, whatever styles we need to, write. So that's with the help of hash symbol. Okay. So I'm using hash, and what is that? H1. Okay. H1 and open and close the brace. And yes, you can now. Okay. So text align and center. Actually, I passed the center here. Let me remove this because we have align format. I mean, align attributes. Okay. So let's get into H1 is done. Okay. So basically, this is a text. So we can pass color. Why is it? Because I have to end this with a semicolon. Fine. So now color, and color can be, let me write it as a green. Okay, so now it's done. H1 is done. I want to define for the second one, second header part. So that is hash H2, right? H2. And now again, text line. If you want to take anything, you can take up here. Okay, you can take here. So for now, I'm taking text line, and yes, if needed, you can paste left. And what is this? Color equals to, sorry, not equals. It's a colon. Okay, so we can have anything. I'm taking maroon. Okay, so again, we have paragraph tag. So paragraph, which is having ID. So that is P1. So for that, P1. And now what I'll do, I take a text line. Okay, so text line equals to, I'll take center. Because I'm taking, H1 as a center. So I'm taking, P1 as center. Okay, so and color. So color, which one I have taken? Actually, I have taken here as a green. Let me change the colors. Purple. Okay, so color. Let's go with this. Let's see what color it is still. And again, we have one more, that is hash P2. And now we can define this P2. Right. Text line. Line as a right. Okay, so now color. Okay, color. Let me take. Okay, fine, red I'm taking. Okay, so for this background color, gray. Okay. So now let me run this. Let me go with the separation. Okay, I'm taking HR tag. Okay, it's done. Now I'm deploying. Okay, so hope you people can observe. Java, first one is center. right? So the first H1 tag, which is display and aligned in the center, and the second one is left, and third one is right, and the fourth one is again right. Including its colors. Actually, background color are not changed, are not given for the first three. I mean, for the H1 and H2 ID, and for the P1, I just given, background color for the P2 tag. This is about, selectors. Selectors, what type of selectors it is? ID selectors. This is actually, important. Suppose, if you're, if you people working with the HTML development. And we do have one more concept, that's a class selectors. Class selectors. Okay. So basically, this selectors HTML elements, with a specific class attributes. Okay. So we can use, with a specific class attributes, but this class selectors used with a stop symbol, full stop symbol. Okay. See what we have done with the ID, same format, we can use a class. If you are, any web developer, in such cases, those class, selectors will be helpful. Okay. But for now, you people will not understand why. It's not like not understand, but you people might get confused with ID and for the class. Okay. Right. So now let's give one simple example for the class selectors. Okay. Class selector, where is it? Where it's defining, it's not showing in the folder. One second. Oh, yes, it's created. And now let's go here. I'll take only one, any one. Okay. Right. So I'm taking P. And, so where we define the class attribute, that's with any element. Okay. So now which tag we are using, which element here? This is paragraph element. So we can say take now class. Okay. So, and for the class, so we can pass anything here. Let me take it as a center. And now we can pass here. Welcome to free Java. Okay. So now let's go to another one. I mean, CSS. Okay. So now let me remove this title as well. Okay. So here, what I have to do, I have to take that style, style tag. Okay. And inside this style, we have to define now, Now we have to define what we have to define. I have defined center, class selector. So here I'm using dot center. So now here I'm trying to pass just a text line. Okay. So text line, let me pass it in a center and text. Okay. Let me see with a blink, B link. Okay. So even I need to pass the color as well. Okay. So for color, let me give it the purple. Okay. So let's see. Let's find the difference now. It's actually moving to the center, but it's not blinking. Let's see with underline. Okay, so now let me add one more, let me add one more element with the same class. Okay, so which is one more element? Assume that I'm taking h1 tag and again I'm using, class equals to center only. I'm taking, center. Okay, and with the center, I'm wrong with this keyword. Class equals to center and yes. Okay, welcome to HTML CSS. Okay, so now please observe. Let me take break. If not, break or horizontal, anything is fine. Okay, so now click on finish. Hope you guys are finding the difference. So CSS class selectors basically used, if you want to pass same structure, same style for all the elements or all the tags, we can use this class selectors. Actually, the first one is with a paragraph and the second one is with a h1 tag. You can replace with any tags. Okay. If we want to pass, same design for, same text format for any kind of tags, even for the body, even here you can define class equals to center. So here HTML CSS selectors. Okay. Now let's go here. I hope you people are getting the differences. Okay. Fine. So now we'll see HTML with a, actually we are, learning HTML with CSS. Now we'll see one simple example for the form tag. Okay. So here, taking form CSS. And here in the form CSS, If you want to define your table, you can define that. Or if you don't want, if you want to go with the form type, you can do that as well. Okay. So for now, form action, it's empty for now. And now username. Okay. Username colon input type. Okay. Input type is text and name equals to, I'm just giving nm. Okay, so again, Sorry guys, due to network issues, it was disconnected. Okay. So I was talking about, form tag. Okay, so now it's about password. I'm trying to, add CSS with a form tag. Okay, so let's take input type already defined for the username, and now it's for password. So the type equals to, so basically we use, password field, password, and name equals to, within double quotes, either we can pass, same name or any short name we can pass. Okay, so I'm using PSW. And now, again, break tag, sorry, it's a BR, right? And the last one, the button. Okay, input type, input type equals to submit, and value equals to submit. Submit or login. Let's go with the login. Okay, so let's close this. And, let me run this. This is a plain form tag. Okay, so let's write here H1. I'm taking here, okay, so H1 as login form. So this is the login form, and now I have to provide a styles for this, form tag. And basically we can align, we can align that in a center. Let's go with a style tag. Okay, so style, and yes, type as a text / CSS. And now what we have to do, so we can take, which was that body tag, and here in the body tag, so basically we use a background color and light. Okay, let's go with the blue. Actually, it looks table, if for a table format, it looks nice. Let's see, fine. So this is a background color, and yes, text line, and I'm passing text line as a center. Okay, so this is for the body tag. And now, so we have actually we have input type, input tags. We have 3 tags, right? So I'm using ID equals to 1. I'm taking as an input 1, so I1, and again ID equals to within double quotes. So we have to pass input tag 2. Let's give the space here. And now ID equals to, so what is that? So this is the third one, right? I can give it as a, button, input button. Okay. So here I1, I2, instead of that, we can give it as a uname and, and password. Okay. So now we'll define. So what is that? I I1. Okay, so now we can see, if you want, we can, define. So let me take 5 px Okay. Border color, we can define border color as well. Let me select from this. Okay. And let's see how many are there. So we can define maximum height 20, in the form of px or inches. Let's take 3. Let's see. Okay, so max width also we can define. Actually, it's not needed, but still we'll try it. Okay, so this is for the input box 1, and again I'm taking for input box 2, and actually I'm taking same. Okay, same properties I'm taking, and we have third one, right? What I did. Hash I-2. Okay. Fine. So now we have third one. Let me define third one as well. So that is button. Okay. In the button, nothing. So let me pass color. I'm just passing, button color. Okay. So color can be, let's see which color can be. And so now let's deploy this. Actually, okay, text areas are not that good. Let's go back. So we had to, I'm giving one more PR. Okay. Fine. So again, I deployed. Okay. So you people can find for button. Let me use one more break so that it will be, more clear. Okay. So actually we have not sent anything, So this is a simple form. Okay, if you want, the same form tag can be displayed, or can be developed with the help of table tag. So as we have seen, in our last class. If you want, if I wanted to redirect to another file, okay. So now we can go to this action element, and we can change the name, okay. So in this CSS, let me create one more file. So this is form CSS now. Let me take welcome file. Welcome file. So I'm defining one message with the h3. Okay. Welcome to welcome line class. Assume that. Okay. Right. And along with this, I'm writing with a one more tag, h3 again. Okay. Okay. Successfully, logged in. Fine. So now, what's happening here? Fine. I wanted to redirect, when I click on submit button, it has to login button, it has to redirect to this form welcome page. So what we need to do now, in the action attributes, we have to pass welcome file, welcome.html. Okay. So now let me deploy this once again. Okay, so now we can now enter, we can enter username and password, anything. Okay. And successful. Okay. Why it is not? It is not finding this welcome file. It is there. Form CSS. Okay, that is the reason. So actually, it's not finding this. This file. Which file? Welcome file. Actually, form CSS is inside. Inside web content, but our welcome file is inside CSS selector. So I'll drag and I'll drop inside the selectors. Okay, so now let me deploy this again. So I'm passing now here again. And now when I click on login, so hope you people can see. If you want to format this, you can format by passing your CSS. So here, style, I'm using inline, okay? Color. And align. Center. Okay. Hope it's clear. So this is about form tag, form tag with a CSS. It's very basic, right? Now I'll take, one more, simple one. So anyhow, we have a form tag. Where is it? Form tag. Okay. One simple example for this form tag. I'll create home page. Okay. Home page. I'm giving it as a home page now. In this home page, I'm using anchor tag. Okay. Basically, what is the use of anchor tag? If you want to redirect, to the another page, we can use this anchor tag. So H reference hyperlink or what is this? Home CSS.html. I'm using here. Click here. Okay. And now observe. It's actually a very simple one. Okay. So this is the anchor tag. When I click here button, it will be redirected to navigates to login form page. And now we can enter. And now we can enter values and some password. And if I click on login button, yes, it says welcome to online class and successfully logged in. This is about your H reference tag. And the same H reference tag can be used for redirecting to any web applications. So please observe here. Let me write here. So what I want to write here. Anchor. Okay, so in this center, first one in this home page. Okay, before this, with the H2, I'll write it as in welcome to home page. Okay, so in this welcome to home page, okay, so in this welcome page, welcome to home page. Okay, so welcome to home page, and here again subtopic, subheading I'm passing. Okay. Click here to redirect to login form. Okay, and I'm using break tag as well. Fine. And again, after this anchor tag, again I'm using H tag, H1. That's fine. H2. Okay. So click here to redirect, to web application. So that can be any web application, but yes, there should be a specific URL. And let me take a break here. Okay. And now here again, I'm using anchor tag. Anchor tag and head reference. So here, okay, let's take web application as in google.com. Okay, so along with this, I'm using just click here. And now I'm deploying. So hope you guys can find why it is welcome to homepage is not in center. Okay. Fine. So let me use center for this as well. Okay. So let's go here and debug. And yes, if I click here, in the first, for the first link, it will be redirected to form page. Suppose if I click here, click on second link, second click here, it will be redirected to Y. Okay, so the link which I pass, it's actually down. So let's go this page. Let's move to this page and replace this. It's actually secured one. Now it will be redirected to Google. Okay, so it's refreshed now. First link anyhow, redirecting to home page is done. Now let's click here button. When I click here, it will be redirected to the Google page. So any web application, if you want to redirect it to any web application, then we can go ahead with the link. We can use that link. I don't know the ExcelR website. Okay, so here you can, fine. So here I'm getting actually related, not absolute path. Okay, I'm not getting absolute path for this website. Fine. So in case, only the thing, if we wants to redirect to a specific website, then we have to, copy paste that absolute, okay, absolute path. Then only successfully it redirects to a specific web application. Hope it's clear. Any queries in this? Let me create one folder. This is anchor tag. Anchor tag with a form. Okay, so where is this? One file. And we have welcome file. So we should have welcome file and home page as well. Let me, Control X and Control V. Okay, so it's actually in progress. Okay, so this is a kind of, simple web app. What is the time? So 9:11 it is. So or else I could have gone for simple, application. So what is that simple application? Let me give the task. Okay. Task as an assignment. Fine. So what is the task for you all? Let me go here. Okay. Okay. So create web application. Okay, simple web application. Simple It's not a web application, it's a website. It's a website, simple website. So which contains login page. First we will go with the registration page, login page, and success page, success or welcome page. Okay, success page and error page. Okay, so actually, for errors, so where is that form fair, form? Actually here, if not assigning values, it will not ask you to enter any value, right? So in case, if I directly submits, it's actually displaying welcome page. Okay, so for that, where is it form field? Right, so here, let me write text name, and here along with this name, we have required. Okay, right, so we have required, and even for the password. And now observe. Okay, so now observe this page in the required. Why is it? Required is for what purpose? Because without entering values, it will not allow us to log in. Required only, let's see. Or else this validation we can discuss in the next session. Okay, let's see once. If not, because we have to provide the patterns, etc. For validation, we have to pass. Right. So actually, I entered, username, but without entering password, I'm trying to redirect. So it's not, so it says. So what it says? It says that this is a required field. So we must enter, we must enter. For what purpose? If you wanted to log into application, compulsorily we have to enter values. Okay, so this is about validation part. Even for the validation, while validating values, even we can pass patterns as well. Okay, patterns in the sense, so username must be within this maximum and minimum length, and it can have numbers. And if it's a password, it can have only numbers. So that pattern, those patterns can be defined by programmer or a web developer. Okay, so now, let me remove this as well. So let's get in. So it says that, yes, this field is required. Okay, so nothing. I just didn't, I didn't pass, I didn't add anything. I just passed one attribute that is required. So, this is provided by the HTML itself. And yes, so now if I wanted to enter to a login page, welcome page, then we must enter some value, any value now. Okay, because we don't have any specific pattern. So we can have, or we can pass any values. Either we can pass numbers or text, anything. So I am passing HTML as a password. Okay, so you people can observe, the values are displaying in a URL. So this is actually not safe. Right. Hope it's clear. CSS with HTML. Again, I know this is a basics which is needed for our servlets. Any queries? Okay, so if no queries, we can, we'll wind up the session. Okay, so thanks to all.